They can live for over 30 years, soar thousands of feet in height, and they're our most populous bird of prey in the UK. But how much do you really know about the common buzzard? Often weighing over a kilo, with wingspans up to 130 centimetres, the common buzzard is one of the larger birds of prey you might see in the UK. In this country, their breeding population is estimated to be between 60,000 and 80,000 pairs. The diet of the common buzzard is really varied. Everything from a tiny beetle or an earthworm all the way up to a large rabbit or even larger items of carrion. They've even been known to go after the occasional game bird. Wild buzzards are often spotted occupying one of their three favourite hunting strategies. First, using the treetops in woodlands or forested areas to spot prey items and jump down from the branches to make the kill. The second is by simply walking through the grass or usually wet and damp fields looking for earthworms or even insects to eat. But thirdly, what they're most famous for is soaring over open terrain, often hundreds if not thousands of feet up in the sky, using their incredible vision to spot the movement of prey or to find carrion to feed off. One thing that's really important for buzzards is vision. They have incredible vision, over 7 times better than ours. So when they're up on the soar, sometimes even thousands of feet high in the sky, they can actually spot their prey or what they're trying to eat from very far away. Buzzards have forward-facing eyes, and this gives them a lot of binocular vision, which really helps them to gauge distance well. Soaring buzzards have what we call a large dihedral angle. As you can see in this diagram, they hold their wings in a V shape, and this gives them lots of lateral stability, and it means they can soar for hours on end and almost fall asleep on the wing, hardly using any energy whatsoever. Ratchet-like tendons and incredible grip strength not only allow buzzards to make their kill, but also to hold their prey in place whilst they feed. There is more to this species than you might think, so let's take a closer look at some of the science behind the humble buzzard. Here, I have a skull, and this skull belongs to a buzzard. Buzzards have eyes that are actually 1.4 times greater than the average for birds of the same weight, and the eyes are actually tube-shaped, and this helps create a larger retinal image. Now this bone here is the keel bone of the buzzard, and the keel bone is what we might also refer to as the breastbone. So you can see it's got a sharp ridge down the middle there, that's the keel, and it allows plenty of space either side for strong pectoral muscle to build. Like all diurnal birds of prey, buzzards have a crop. So everything he's eating here today is going straight into that crop. Now a crop is a loose, muscular sac, and it sits just above the stomach in their digestive system. And the way I like to describe it is a little bit like a sorting office. So in goes there all the food that he's going to need, and he works out what he wants and what he doesn't want. So things like fur and gristle or feather, often what we call casting, is stuff that's got no nutritional benefit to him, and that stays in the crop. And the next morning that's regurgitated in the form of a little pellet, because he doesn't need it. Now, all the flesh and the bone and the nutritious material that he wants will pass from the crop and through into the stomach and into the rest of the digestive system. Courtship displays can be really incredible to watch. They include soaring at great heights, tumbling dives and stoops, sharp, short climbs, and slow, exaggerated wing beats. The common buzzard is what we call a monogamous species. This means they come together to mate with the same individual each year. They spend most of the year apart, and come the springtime, male and female return to their breeding territory. They usually lay one clutch of about 2 to 4 eggs each year. The female will incubate the eggs for about a month, and then for 3 months both parents will rear and teach the young to survive on their own. It's unusual to have more than just 1 or 2 individuals actually fledge, and after that, it's very rare that more than 25% of young buzzards actually survive their first year. Buzzards are what we call a sexually dimorphic species. Bit of a mouthful, but it just means that one sex is larger or smaller than the other. So Neo here is a male, and the males are a bit smaller. In fact, the females are 25% to a third larger than the males. Why? Because they've got to carry the eggs. They also spend more time on the nest, so it pays off for them to be a bit bigger and a bit stronger. And those bigger and stronger females are more likely to survive and breed to form the next generation. This is Neo, and Neo is our common buzzard, and he lives here with us. He is coming up to just 2 years old, and he's been with us since he was just 3 months old. And he's been in training, and we're teaching him how to soar, just like the wild buzzards do. And he's going to have a really important job going forward. He's going to be teaching and educating all of our visitors about wild birds of prey that you might see in the UK, and of course, buzzards. Neo and I started working together when he was just 3 months old. The first part of our relationship was forming a bond of trust. He had to learn that he could allow me into his space and that I was there to help him and that he was safe around me. And once he was ready, we started rewarding and encouraging him for soaring flights, and we continued to encourage him to go higher and further each time. Neo is a sensitive soul, and he has a gentle personality, although he can be rather lazy and often prefers just to chill out and enjoy the view as opposed to doing that much flying. In our dedicated rehabilitation hospital, one species we see probably more than almost anything else is the buzzard. In fact, we see loads of them. But rehabilitation to us isn't just about sustainably and ethically returning birds of prey back to where they belong after they've recovered from injury or illness, but it's also about collecting data. And this data we can save and accumulate to contribute towards species-specific conservation efforts. In fact, this is just some of the records we've had from the last 12 months. A lot of these are all to do with the common buzzard. So this is a species that we work quite closely with, and over the years we've come to know quite well. Just because buzzards aren't classed as being endangered doesn't mean we can take our eye off the ball. As conservationists, it's crucial that we keep an eye on wild buzzard populations to make sure they stay stable, and also to keep existing threats from causing their population to plummet or the other animals and organisms that they coexist with in their ecosystem. Monitoring the behaviour of buzzards and their flight style can also teach us a great deal about other British birds of prey and also other soaring species, like eagles. They might not have the most glamorous name, but the common buzzard is certainly a species with fascinating capabilities that we must protect for future generations.